Welcome to CBT News with Cheyenne Malone.
Good morning and welcome to CBT News Daily Newscast. I'm Cheyenne Malone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Here's a look at today's top automotive industry stories.
6 Southern governors have issued a statement urging citizens against unionization ahead of a critical labor vote at Volkswagen's Tennessee plant. In the warning, Republican governors from Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, and South Carolina claim that unions would deter business and, quote, put our state's jobs in jeopardy. Employees at the Chattanooga Volkswagen facility are set to begin voting today on whether they will unionize following months of campaigning organized by United Auto Workers officials. Tesla's market value has dropped to a one-year low ahead of the company's first quarter earning report as concerns over stagnating electric vehicle demand continue to pile up. The brand's share price dipped 2.7% on Tuesday, dragging its total value below the $500 billion mark, after a leaked internal memo revealed it was planning to lay off more than 10% of its global workforce. In March, Tesla posted slower than expected quarterly sales, missing analysts' estimates by a wide range. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has ramped up its investigation into 3 million Honda Accord and CR-V vehicles over numerous automatic emergency braking complaints. The federal agency originally opened its probe into the issue in early 2022, at which time it only examined models made between 2017 and 2019, but has since expanded its analysis to include 2020 through 2022 editions as well. The NHTSA will now conduct an engineering analysis on the vehicles, typically the final step before issuing a recall. Hydrogen car sales plummeted over the first quarter following the closure of multiple refueling sites in California. Only 233 hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, or FCVs, were sold in the U.S. during Q1, down 70% from last year and the lowest volume in roughly 8 years. FCV usage is predominantly confined to California, where quarterly sales of the Toyota Mirai reached just 172 units, followed by the Hyundai Nexo 51 units. Earlier this year, Shell, which ran 7 hydrogen fueling stations in the state, announced it would shut down all sites indefinitely. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Joe McCabe, President and CEO of Auto Forecast Solutions, to discuss the shift towards hybrid vehicles amidst slow EV sales.
CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV.
GM is bringing back the plug-in hybrid, the electric hybrid strategy. Talk to us about that and the recent shift in strategy. What's behind that?
Yeah, we've been telling our clients all the time to sort of not put all your eggs in the BEV basket. BEVs are, I've said before, are a governmental and environmental agenda to push full electrification. They're a solution or not, they are not just the solution. And we're not anti-EV, but we're pro, reality that each consumer has their own need for mobility and their own need to get from point A to point B, and a BEV might not be the only solution. So what you need to do is you got to convince a consumer that a plug is not a disruptor in their life. You got to add it in where they say, well, I'm going to try a plug-in hybrid today. I have my normal gas engine as sort of my backup strategy. But if I can convince myself that a plug is not too much of a disruptor, then maybe my next vehicle will be a BEV. So the idea of a plug-in hybrid strategy is to build this idea of a bridge technology to get consumers more aware of the value of it, and then hopefully for the next generation or the one after that to get them in a pure BEV space.
Sure, kind of wading them into the deep end somewhat, right?
Correct. This idea of pushing all in, it was a good approach. I mean, and I view it as a success. There's a high penetration rate of BEVs out there. And now you got to sort of dial it back and say, okay, we need not just the early adopters, we need the mass market to consume this.
Yep.
And we have to give them a full portfolio, not just one very narrow portfolio to work with.
And you can watch this full interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that does it for our show today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And now you can find CBTs in over 70 million broadcasting households. We're on Roku, Apple TV, Android, and iOS devices. Simply search CBT News in the App Store on your smartphone or device, and you can watch our programming whenever, wherever. I'm Cheyenne Malone, and on behalf of all of us at CBT News, see you next time.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content.